Well, hey, Emily, I want to thank you for coming and visiting a little bit. I've been hearing so much about what's going on in your life and lots of changes. I've caught up with a couple girlfriends that have told me what's going on. So, what is happening? What is going on in your life?
Well, I'm really excited because my husband and I were going to be moving to Nova Scotia, Canada. I booked a lead in a sci-fi original series called Haven. I get to play this FBI agent, and I get to spend all summer in Nova Scotia playing this role. So I'm really excited. It's based on a Stephen King novel, and I'm also working on a Sony PlayStation 3 game that's actually getting pretty big. It's called Uncharted, and just been doing a lot of acting up in LA, and then when I have a chance, going down to schools and talking with kids and doing some mentorship here and there. So that's kind of what's consisting of life these days.
Well, awesome. You know, I really appreciate you as we've developed our friendship over the last couple of years, and just a lot of commonalities that we have and interests that we share. And of course, one of that is, as we know, have spoken about so often, human trafficking.
Yeah.
And really what's going on in our world today, both with human trafficking and bonded labor. And, you know, we share a passion for what's going on in India with the Dalit people. So why don't you just take a minute? Why do you think, I'm just curious, with maybe your generation, what is going on right now, why people are so aware of social justice and human trafficking, and why is there this heightened awareness today?
You know what, honestly, I think it's one of those things that I've kind of become aware of it through my group of friends and all of us just sort of talking about it. But living in Los Angeles, you know, I think growing up at some of these smaller towns and growing up in our kind of bubbles, we sort of kind of think that these cruel things, they don't really happen around us, and they're not really happening in the world. If they are, it's kind of the small little pocket somewhere. And I just remember kind of coming to the realization and living in a really big city and kind of looking around me and kind of making some observations and going, oh my word, there's some shady stuff happening in this town. And there are some people that do not have rights and that are getting promises to come to this land and are getting mistreated. There are kids that are getting kidnapped, and this is a problem that's happening around us. And you know, through doing some research about what kind of clothes I buy and what kind of coffee I drink and all of that, I kind of became more aware of what's going on. And I think our generation is kind of realizing that if you do take action, you can have a domino effect. You can make a difference. So I think our group of friends has just really become passionate about human trafficking. At times it can be overwhelming and you go, I don't know what to do. But I think just talking about it, I mean, even through hanging out with my friends, I've realized what a big deal it is and how much it's really happening.
Well, you know, I have a great passion to empower women, and that's, you and I have become friends through that. And several years ago when I started the 5K, and then it became an 8K and then a 10K, and hopefully you won't be able to join us this year, which is next week, because you will be in Nova Scotia shooting. But, you know, really for me, just raising awareness for women, both physically for themselves, being able to say I am worth you know, really God's love, and I am worth taking care of my temple and taking care of my body. So through those 5Ks, 8K, 10Ks, we've been able to really help women love and value themselves. But out of that, as you know, because you've been a part of, was raising awareness not only to tell the story, but financially to raise the awareness for the women, especially the Dalit women of India. And in our Women Empowering Women movement that we've begun, and that I've begun through some of my coaching and through some of my Pilates classes, etc., we've seen a real empowerment of women. Would you just take a minute and share with the viewing audience who will be watching this, how do you feel we can empower women today, both here in the States, and how do we empower the women here to make a difference and to do something, take action, as you said, for our women friends who are the Dalits in India?
Yeah, well, I think that these things like the 5K and the 10K are really exciting because it's something that we're physically doing for a cause and for a reason. And I think what's really neat is like when you get involved in something, especially as a woman, you go and you talk about it and you spread the word. And when you're involved in something like this, you're able to say, oh, well, you know, I took part in this 5K because we are helping raise awareness about this. Well, what are the Dalits? I've never heard of that. Oh my gosh, you haven't heard of that? This is a group of women that are not even given the rights that we have. They can't even make eye contact with you. Like, when you're able to talk about that, and when you're able to get your friends involved and you do something together, it makes you continually passionate about the cause. And I know that I was even on set, like a month or so ago, and I was talking about the Dalits because I have a bracelet that reminds me of them. And somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, I really like your bracelet."
Right.
And I was like, "Do you know about the Dalits?" And they were like, "No, I haven't heard." So I think through doing these things, it empowers us to have like the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to share that.
Right.
And then with that passion comes the opportunities to actually go over there and see where the money is going,
Right.
and to take these trips with you, or for you to actually have the one-on-one encounters with these women. And
Right.
what's so cool is, like, even though you're encouraging and you may be around someone your age, these schools and what you're doing is making a difference for this younger generation
Right.
that doesn't ever have to grow up believing that about themselves.
Right.
And that is empowering not only that generation, but like the generations coming after that. So it really has a massive effect.
Right.
And if you stick to the passion about it and really research and look into what this problem is, it's going to change things.
Right.
And that in and of itself is exciting, that you're actually doing something.
Right. Well, you made reference to the phrase "make a difference," and I think all of us can make a difference. Several months ago, I was in India, and I was able to walk with many of the women who have benefited from the 5K, 10K. Races that we've had, and I'm seeing the schools that we're building, and along with the elementary schools for the children, we're also building vocational schools for the women.
Yeah.
And in the vocational schools, as you know, we're providing them with sewing machines that they then will have a
So
trade,
cool.
and they're able then to make the uniforms for the children in the elementary schools.
Yeah.
And we really are making a difference, and I can tell you, people come to me all the time and say, "Well, that's great, I'm glad you're doing it, but what can I do? I mean, how can I really make a difference?" And they want to write a check, which is wonderful, and we love having the funds and we love the support. But don't you feel that deep down within all of us, there's something innately that I believe God, ordained, that wants us to do something with our life to reproduce really a life of making a difference in those less fortunate. Maybe just as we close, tell me a couple things that you've done to maybe just make a difference in people's lives and leaving that legacy. What is your personal maybe passion to leave a legacy for others?
Yeah, well, I think, in looking at what gift I've been given in terms of my career and what I get to do, I'm completely honored and blessed that I've had people in my life that have been placed in there for a reason, to open doors and to encourage and to keep pushing me forward into this place where I've been receiving a blessing as a result of that. And so when I look at the ways that people have mentored me and believed in me or encouraged me and said, "Yes, you can do this, and look at this, and I can connect you with this person, and this will provide this opportunity," that's affected my life directly.
Yes.
And so I always try, and I believe my desire is to mentor and to encourage younger generations and to say, this is an example, and look at how you can make a difference with your life, and what have you been called to do, and what is your talent, and how can you use that in an area that will bless the world. And I think that that's something we sort of kind of take for granted in America, honestly. Like, just that I can call you up and say, "I need inspiration about this," or do you have any advice in this area? Just that you have the luxury of connecting with people and them believing in you. This whole caste system of Dalits, they don't even exist, so they don't even have people that can believe in them.
Right.
They don't even think that they're people worth being believed in. So the fact that you are taking notice, the fact that a group of people find a cause and them valuable enough to take notice, and then to be able to go over there and look at those children or those women in the face and say, this talent you have, this ability to sew, this whatever, can bless this and get your family out of this position, is so exciting. And so if people even if you don't feel like you could do it with your life, but if you could take that a couple of weeks, I can't tell you the numerous camp counselors I had in my life. They were just in my life for 1 week.
Right.
And changed my life. And we can take that time, either a week trip, or even if it is with our finances, you don't know what that check can do to come into a person's life at a certain time, to provide a salary for a teacher or a sponsorship for someone to take a trip, to look somebody in the eye and to inspire them and to believe in them for something, and you don't know what kind of change that can ignite.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting.
Yeah.
It's like this is an opportunity to actually touch somebody's life, and change will result as a result of it.
Well, Emily, thank you. You've inspired me with your words, just reminding me that every time we look into the face of a Dalit, we're giving them hope. And hope is really what we exist for.
Yeah.
So thank you. And
Thank you.
I will have you in my prayers
Thank
and
you.
my thoughts while you are on location. And I just know that God's got great things in store for you. And thank you for your friendship. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate
Thanks.
you too.